Hey, welcome back to another story from the family records. What's going on here? Well, every week I pull records at random out of my family's collection. I listen to the record 3 times, and in that time I have to figure out the story of the album, the music, and the musicians who created it. Make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss us dropping an album. Those are the polls on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and then the shorts featuring the music from the album on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Liking the videos if you like them and leaving comments lets YouTube show these to more people, and I really appreciate it too. Today, we're revisiting a story we've talked about before. It's a story of what happens to everything you leave behind when you die. How our ideas, concepts, and materials left unfinished, completed, and then presented after the deaths of their creators. Let's drop the needle on. Jimi Hendrix, Rainbow Bridge. The Rainbow Bridge is a natural rock formation in Utah, believed by some to be a gateway to spiritual realms. Rainbow Bridge was a 1971 film focused on, quote, showing the positive side of the youth movement of the 1960s. Rainbow Bridge, original motion picture soundtrack, was the second posthumous release of Jimi Hendrix material. Despite the name on the album cover, there isn't much music from the actual film soundtrack on here. We'll get back to Rainbow Bridge, the second one, in a second. But Rainbow Bridge, the first one, that's the rock formation, that was what this album was named after. Recorded from fall 1968 to summer 1970, the material on Rainbow Bridge was originally planned to be part of Hendrix's unfinished double album, First Rays of the New Rising Sun. Getting back to Rainbow Bridge, the second one, it was shot in 1970 and directed by Chuck Wine. Wine had worked with Andy Warhol on some of his movies, and the producer of this movie, Michael Jeffrey, had worked with Jimi Hendrix. When the movie seemed to be in trouble, Hendrix was asked to come in and play a concert, which would appear in the movie, in order to buoy the troubled production. Hendrix played 2 full sets, which is over an hour and a half of performing. However, due to technical problems, only 17 minutes of the recorded footage was deemed usable. Despite this claim, however, full performances of Dolly Dagger and Villanova Junction, those are both from the second set that Hendrix had played, they've appeared as bootleg videos, which, as we know, is nothing new as far as Hendrix material is concerned. So despite the experience with the movie not being the best for Hendrix, record producer John Jansen recalled, quote, Jeffrey had to talk Hendrix into performing. Up to that point, he had refused to write a note of music for the film. And despite this LP not actually being the soundtrack for the film, it was released as Rainbow Bridge, original motion picture soundtrack. And it's still listed that way on music services today. Is that what Jimi would have wanted? We'll get back to that in just a second. Let's quickly finish with the album itself. It released in the fall of 1971, coinciding with the film of the same name. The response to Rainbow Bridge, the movie, uniformly negative. Literally, the only good comments seem to be about Hendrix. The response to Rainbow Bridge, the not original motion picture soundtrack, uniformly positive. Although I did see a 2 out of 5 from the Encyclopedia of Popular Music. Writing in 1981, Robert Christgau spoke about Hendrix's guitar playing on Rainbow Bridge. He says, rich stuff, exploring territory that, as always with Hendrix, consists not merely of notes, but of undifferentiated sound. A sound he shapes with a virtuosity no one else has ever achieved on an electric instrument. But is this what Jimi would have wanted? It seems like his experience with the movie was mixed at best. I did see that Polygap, which has incredible guitar on it, is named after a valley in the island of Maui, where Jimi spent time while in Hawaii. So I'm sure going to Hawaii wasn't all bad. You're going to Hawaii. But at the same time, playing 2 50-minute sets to end up with 17 minutes of usable footage would be very annoying at the minimum. And who really gained from calling this album Rainbow Bridge? Or even if it was just Rainbow Bridge. But that's not the message here. To me, it's clear, and it's a tactic at least 50 years old. But let's be honest, the movie Rainbow Bridge was in a bad place. That's the whole reason Hendrix was persuaded by his and the movie's producer to go and be in it, was because the movie was in trouble. Naming this album Rainbow Bridge Original Motion Picture Soundtrack clearly indicated to consumers that the music on this album would be in the movie. And that was designed to drive more people to see the movie. Jimi Hendrix had nothing to gain from this association. Rainbow Bridge the movie was a flop. Rainbow Bridge the album reached number 15 on the US charts and number 16 in England. It has become a beloved album among Hendrix fans and is regarded as a testament to his talent and creativity. It's very unfortunate that the caretakers of Jimi's legacy didn't respect it enough to do better on this release. No one can know for sure what someone who's dead would want. No one can tell how you really feel right now when you're alive. That's why you need to tell people, because no one knows what's in your head except for you. With that understood, I think it's pretty difficult to claim that this is what Jimi would have wanted to be done with his creations. Ultimately, all we can do is enjoy the legacy he has left, the new gateways for guitar he created, and be better informed consumers, so that the same type of people trying to do the same type of things today won't succeed. Creators deserve that much. And me? I deserve things too. I'm a creator also. I deserve some more subs. Can you help me out? If you're not subscribed to the channel, it would be an awesome time to do that. I just started this up about a month ago. It's been a little over a month, and we've gone from 0 to 68. It's like 69-ish, 70, somewhere. Right around there. I'm stoked about that. That's awesome. From nothing to that, and with only maybe a third of that being people that I've told about it, it's awesome. It's super rewarding for me, and I really appreciate it. But if you haven't subscribed yet, now's a great time to do it. Like I said, likes, comments, both of those things. First of all, I appreciate them. I love seeing the likes and I love seeing your guys' comments. I try to respond to all of them if I can. And they also let YouTube know that people want to see this content. And so they will show this content to more people, and that gives me more chances to have people find this stuff. So I really appreciate when you guys do all that. But ultimately, I just appreciate every single one of you for being here, for being part of my family. I love you all. Thank you so much. We'll be back again with another record. Take care. Bye-bye. I didn't say anything about it, but you knew that I was going to be back here with my unedited takes at the very end. I don't even have to say it anymore. You know, if you're here right now, then you know what's up. Thanks for being here, first of all. Appreciate you guys. Yeah, what's going on? This is the 27th episode, and I didn't do an extra episode this weekend because I'm a bad boy. There will be, probably this week, there's going to be an extra episode. I promise. I will not miss that. We will get ourselves to a nice even number here. We're at 26. This will be 27, 28, 29, 30. That's 3 more episodes this week. Hopefully, we're going to be able to do that. My schedule just kind of, basically my schedule just evolved this weekend where I thought that I would have more time, and then all of a sudden I didn't. But that's my fault. That's nothing to do with you guys. So I apologize about that. I'll be better about that. And yeah, I will get that extra video. Don't worry about it. It will be here. I just don't know exactly when, but I will not let you down on that. Otherwise, yeah, this album is super interesting in terms of when I pulled it. First of all, when I pulled it, I was like, oh, great. A Jimi Hendrix album while he's alive. Like, that's great. And then obviously both my parents are like, yeah, he was dead. Da-da-da. So I was like, oh, shit, okay. Mainly because I already did this story, right? I already did the story of like what happens after you're gone, and then there's people running your shit, and they're doing stuff with it. So yeah, I was honestly kind of like nervous about it, and going into it, I was like, oh man, like I just felt like I had like a lot of block. But yeah, it actually very quickly, the movie album tie-in there was super interesting, and then I thought that also played into the concepts that I'm talking about in terms of other people being in charge of your creations after you're gone, and whether they're doing things with them that we can objectively say you would agree with. And I don't think on this album that he would have wanted, I mean, well, obviously, first of all, obviously the tracks were supposed to be for another album that he was doing, so he wouldn't have made this album anyway, first of all. But second of all, I think just it's super apparent that it's like, yeah, he probably didn't have a great time with the movie. Even if he wouldn't have been like, hey, like, fuck that movie, he probably wouldn't have been like, oh, I'll do a release with the movie. And obviously the producer who's in charge of both these things has a vested interest in the movie doing well, clearly, since he brought in Jimi Hendrix to try to make the movie better right away. So like I said, to me, it screamed right away of, yeah, like, they put this thing out to trick people, like literally just to trick people, because it's not even a soundtrack for the movie. So they know when they're making it that it's like, well, this isn't actually, most of this music isn't in the movie, but we'll put it out. And first of all, you'll sell a bunch of these, so you can probably recoup, like you could put those streams together and recoup some of the movie on the back end from the albums. But then also you can get more people than would have seen that terrible movie. I haven't seen it, but all the reviews just were scathing of it. So, and the way that I don't mind experimental filmmaking. Like, I think like there's a lot of like really interesting stuff out there, but the way that it was shot was very like, we're just gonna shoot a lot of footage and see what we get, basically, which I don't think is ever. I think like you can do things experimentally, but you still should have a solid plan, because otherwise you're just gonna end up with, especially when they're actually shooting film, there's reels of film, and then you have to go through all that. And someone who's already doing a production in that way, to me, doesn't feel disciplined enough to be going through all the reels afterwards. Maybe I'm wrong on that one, but obviously the movie was a flop and sounds like trash, so probably not. But I never saw it, so I have to be fair and say that I've never seen it. But yeah, I don't think that Hendrix would have wanted this album released in this way, and that's shitty. That just sucks, because he deserved better than that. So, but yeah, some amazing guitar on this one. Definitely to me, Polygap, like I said, Polygap, that's the best song on here for sure. And then there's Star Spangled Banner is my close second. I just didn't pick that one because that's like a live recording, and we talked about it before, and it's not even the Woodstock version. It's like a different concert. I forget which version it was. I wonder if it says it here. I actually did look it up, but now I forget. Recorded. Yeah, they don't say, but it wasn't the Woodstock version. It was a different version from like a year later, I want to say, that they recorded. But it's still sick, like super sick. But yeah, I think Polygap, that definitely. And leave a comment if you're from Hawaii, if you know, am I saying that right? Am I saying is it Polygap? Like, am I messing up? Like, sorry, apologies Hawaii if that's the case. But yeah, it's really good. It's a good album, and it's just disappointing. It's just too bad that it was handled that way. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let me know what's going on with you, anything that's happening. I saw some good Sting comments on the last video for sending our love down the well, so I appreciate all my Simpsons OGs out there. Love you guys. Love everybody. Thank you. Have a blessed, this is coming out on Monday, so have a blessed Monday, Tuesday, whenever you're seeing this. Have a blessed day. I love you. Goodbye. I was going to move there for the camera, but then I need to like freeze frame at the end, so I'm like, oh, maybe I should. So anyway, here's a real freeze frame now. Bye.